I'm not happy. They are forcing me to make this video in the middle of the night. They are forcing me to make this video in the middle of the night. I need help, guys. Call the cop.
I heard you.
Welcome.
Welcome to me.
To our channel.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm very happy to be here. Actually,
Am I happy?
that's your business. Anyways, so I'm Phil. Yes, my name. I'm Phil.
I'm Steve.
Okay, and this is On the Couch with Phil and Steve. So our channel is about...
Well, in our channel, we will be talking basically about marriage, relationships, family, parenthood, very important.
Very important.
Society, politics, entertainment, general rants, everything. Basically, it's just, you know, the kind of, you have had a long day, come back,
exactly,
relax on the couch and just let it all out.
Playing games too. Yeah. Games that will expose you. You want to say you always win games?
No, I'm not even saying stuff like that. But we would see who always wins the games when we start. But welcome again to our channel. This is our first video, and then we are happy to have you guys as, you know, one of our first listeners and of course viewers. So please hit that notification bell for our videos. We'll be releasing videos on and on regularly. Subscribe to our channel. We'll be looking out for the first 50 subscribers.
Yes, we have
subscribe
gifts
to our channel.
Yeah, I have gifts too.
I don't have any gift though.
Yeah, I have gifts.
Anyways, we'll be looking out for the first 50 subscribers. Do well to like this video. Just promote it basically. We're just here to have fun. Give us your time, your ears, your eyes.
You learn a thing or two, basically.
Yeah, sure, you will.
And we're also hoping to learn from you guys, from your comments. So just, you know, engage.
Yeah, drop comments. Yeah, drop it. How do they do it? Drop comments down.
Drop it down.
yeah, do that. So this is the first video. What will we be talking about?
Okay, today we're talking about how God saved us. We're talking about our testimony. We're Christians, by the way. We have a very big testimony. We've had this testimony since last year, and it's only nice that we share it as our first video. You get, it's about the birth of our son.
Yeah, our son is one.
Yep.
Well, as at the time of recording this video, he wasn't one, but I'm sure by the time you're seeing this video, he'll be one. Yes, we have a very, very wonderful son. Take a look. Just take a look at how handsome he is. And tell me who he looks like. So, I'm sure you know he looks like me, right?
Please, we're not having arguments today. Well, how did this start? Let me start from the night before. So, the night before, in fact, 2 days before. So, I gave birth to my son on a Friday, and I went for antenatal on a Wednesday, and they did all the checks and everything and gave me my normal drugs. Me, I was already tired. I was already complaining to matron, complaining to my gynae, telling him that, please, I'm tired. When am I, you know, dropping? And then they're like, madam, relax. It's okay now. I carry my big belly. They go my house, go rest. So on Thursday,
that was 28th of
that was
September.
28th of November.
No, October. So Thursday, 28th of October, 2021.
Bam.
You know, at about 9:10ish p.m. Yes. And
after we finished setting rocker.
Oh yes. We got one rocker that I regret buying, by the way.
We'll talk about this in another video. Things you should buy and things you should not buy.
And when you should listen to your wife and when you should not.
Please continue.
Anyway, so we set up. We were ready for him. We were ready for his coming. Of course, then it was just the two of us that knew it was a he. So we were ready for the baby. You know, her brother was around. He helped us set up. We had his crib all set. his rocker set. We had purchased a lot of stuff, the new baby vibe, first baby vibe, both stuff we needed and stuff we did not need, but we were just happy to be, first time parents, and so we were just, all up in our feelings and all over the moon, and we didn't know he was going to come the next day
at all.
And so, but my wife really wanted him to come in October.
Yes.
And I was it doesn't matter anytime it comes, but she really wanted in October. So it was the 28th of October, and she just told me she was feeling some sort of sensation in her stomach.
Pain.
Yeah, pain.
I was feeling this very, like women that know menstrual pain. I was feeling small menstrual pain. I said, maybe it's just one of those, Braxton Hicks, Sabi Braxton. I said, maybe it's just one of those things. And
then I told her, you'll give birth tomorrow. In fact, I said it in pidgin. My exact words were, you go born tomorrow. She said, lie, please, Obla. She wants the 30th or the 31st, but she just knows that October will not pass her by. And then we laughed over it. And we went to bed. We went to bed pretty early, 9, 10-ish.
Yeah, we went to bed early.
Don't be surprised, that's early in our house, because when you have a kid, 12 midnight, you're still awake. So we went to bed pretty early, and the next thing we knew...
okay, so I woke up around 4, that was like 4:13, and I was just feeling, I was so tired. When I was pregnant, I used to pee like every minute, so I was so tired, I didn't want to stand up to go and pee for like the 5th or the 6th time, but I was now feeling very wet all around me. I said, God, is it possible that I've bedwetted? Hey, my husband will finish me, he will laugh at me. I just say, hey God, how will I tell you that I peed on the bed? I stood up, and lo and behold, blood everywhere. I just, I saw the dark red. I knew that it was blood. I turned on the lights, and I'm like, easy, blood. I just, the way you flew, and then he jumped up.
But the thing is, some days before that, I had, prepped myself. Exactly. The truth is, you can never be ready for the moment. But I prepped myself mentally, anywhere I went to, the hospital bag was always in my boots. Everything was ready. I knew that even if it happened at night, what I would do, what I would wear, from t-shirts, jeans, I would just jump in my slippers. Everything was ready. I go almost everywhere with my iPad and my laptop, so I packed, everything. Anytime I'm done with work for the day, I just keep my stuff aside. And then I was walking out of town, so I came into town, I think a day or two. Yeah. And, I was just ready that anytime it comes. But trust me, you can never be ready for the moment. So she packed me, and I have never seen that amount of blood in my life. Active, not blood just staying, like blood was gushing. I went into the toilet, and I said, let me pee the pee now that I want to pee. As I just see blood everywhere, it was just all over the place. It was so scary. The fear in my eyes were very, very visible. That fear, I've never seen my wife that scared. It was so visible. And then she looked up and asked me, because I went into the restroom with her, and then she looked up and asked me, is this normal, this amount of blood? And the fear I saw in her eyes, I just had to comfort her at that point that I'm sure it's normal. Then in her presence, her water broke too. Yeah. And so by then I had already put on my, clothes and all, and I was ready. So I was trying to get her prepped and ready to, let's go to the hospital. And I was really pressed. I was really pressed to pee. Ladies and gentlemen, I broke a record that day. I've never, that's the longest pee I have experienced, seen, encountered, heard of, dreamt of. Of course, the blood was everywhere, so I couldn't pee in our own restroom. So I went to the guest toilet to pee. And I was peeing, and it wasn't stopping. And I don't know if it was the anxiety. And the next thing I was hearing, my wife was calling out from the room. Izzy, where are you? Where are you? I'm coming, and I didn't even finish peeing. I didn't know I couldn't finish peeing. And so I just did my business, and the whole place was in a mess. Her brother was with us at the time, and I just told him, you know what, just do your best to clean up this place. And then immediately I put my wife in the car and we drove out.
And I carried a wrapper because I was still actively bleeding.
Yes.
I actually had to, I think you were the one that put the pad and everything.
Yeah.
So I had to carry a wrapper so that I put it on the car seat before I sit down because I didn't want to soil the car and everything. And immediately we got into the car. The estate gates.
Okay, so the estate we were at, you know, we have 2 gates. And so I drove out, you know, through the fastest route out. We got to the gate and we were honking at about 4:30, honking, and they just did not show up. The security guys didn't show up. The gate was locked. I jumped out of the car, checked the gate was locked. I immediately went back into the car, went to the next gate, you know, which was quite some distance. Went to the next gate. It was also locked. And I was honking, it was locked, but it wasn't really padlocked. Honking and they were not there, so I just came down. And as soon as I saw it wasn't, immediately I just, you know, threw the padlock, opened the gate and all. And that was when they started coming like, why are you opening that gate? But I didn't even say anything to anybody. I just jumped in the car and zoomed off. It's normally, with the roads being free, that journey was supposed to take like 15 to 20 minutes. It was almost one of the longest drives I've ever had, but one of the most memorable. One of the most memorable. Because, you know, on the way, that was when it hit us that we were about to be parents.
I'm telling you.
You know, like it was not the same through the pregnancy journey. It was just, this was different. Like it is happening. And so I did that drive with one hand. The other hand was holding my wife. She sat in front of me and I was holding her and trying to comfort, and I was telling her, you know, and then instead of me doing the comforting, she was now the one, you know.
So it happened that I put on one of my favorite songs from last year, Jaire by Maverick City. I'm sure everybody knows that song.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I put it on because it was kind of giving me the strength I needed at that time. It was just giving me this hope that, okay, nothing bad will happen, because I was so scared. So it was just giving me, that song was just my go-to song anytime I wanted to, you know, just connect with God and feel like I have hope, basically. So I played the song and then he started crying.
Yes, I started crying. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I started crying while we were going, and I was not like, he was holding my hand, so I was trying to tell him, don't worry, we'll be fine. I was like the strong guy until we reach hospital.
Okay, so fast forward to the hospital. Yes, I cried almost all through the journey. Proudly so. And then we got to the hospital. But no, we missed out. And we have like the most wonderful gynecologist on the planet.
Yes.
Shout out Dr. Paul Oguche. Wonderful. So at that 4 a.m. when we were still in the house, I just took my phone in the middle of that pandemonium and I called Dr. Paul.
Yes.
In one ring, he just picked up. And Dr. Paul is Mr. Igala. Oh, hi, Igala. And we told him, see, he just said, go to the hospital, wait for me on the 2nd floor, tell them this, that, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And so we got to the hospital.
He even placed calls to like the nurses, telling them we were coming and everything.
So they were expecting us, and you know, we got to the hospital, you know, gradually through the elevator, we went upstairs, and you know, the nurse was already there, they knew we were coming. So we got in and had to then wait for the doctors. I'm sure maybe you want to tell them what happened.
Okay, so when we got to the hospital, I think that was Nurse Uchechi. I remember their names very well. So by then the pain had actually reduced though, very well. We were even laughing at ourselves I think that was the labor room. So they took me to the labor room to check how many cm dilated. To see how much my cervix had dilated. So it was just 1 cm. And the blood was still gushing out seriously, but I wasn't feeling pain at the moment. So Uchechi was like, well, maybe it's just, she said that she's not sure, but it can be placenta previa, but since the pain is not there again, it might just be normal. Sometimes some women actually lose, you know, some amount of blood. So we just did now. And then we were just still laughing, say see yesterday, we just laugh. They gist. Now we won't come born. And he was like, since I'm no longer feeling pain and all that, they can move me to my ward till I'm ready to give birth. So they moved me to my ward. I think that was on the 2nd floor, and I'll be the 4th floor. The fourth floor. Yeah. So they moved me to the 4th floor in a room. I was just there. After some time, the pain became very, very excruciating. It was very, very bad, and then the blood was gushing out even more. And then we had to use they asked for bean bags so that, you know, because it was coming out in clots, so they could put the clots in the bean bag. It was that serious. And so my gynae came, and when he came, he just quickly asked for a scan. You understand? The scan personnel, I think they were not around also. So him, you know, rushing to get the scan machine from, I think, the 2nd floor to the 4th floor to come and do the scan in my room was another process again. So, and I think, how many people were in that room at that time? I was not even seeing, because my eyes were turning me, like my eyes started turning me. I couldn't see properly because of the blood loss. I was just in so much pain. I couldn't even focus on anything. In fact, it was everything, many things were just happening at the same time. And so when he did the scan, I don't know, I wasn't seeing his face, so
he did the scan, and I was watching basically, and when he did the scan, I noticed, you know, his facial expression really changed, and he didn't want to get us, you know, all panicked and all.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, Dr. Paul, very wonderful man. Shout out once again to Dr. Paul, very, very wonderful man.
Yes.
You know, so he didn't want to get us panicked, and so he just said, sir, please, we need to. I just interrupted him. I said, where do I sign? I just said, where do I sign?
Yeah.
He looked at me. I said, leave, don't explain anything. Where do I sign? And he said, okay, just go with the nurses. They'll give you the book to sign, blah, 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 blah. And so they prepped her, you know, to go into the theater for an emergency CS.
Okay.
And, you know, so I went, of course, you know, they were trying to explain. I said, I know what these procedures are. Just show me where to sign. And so I just put pen to paper, and I joined them actually, you know, to wheel her to the theater. But when we got there, of course, they didn't let me get in.
What did I tell you on our way?
What was that thing? You screamed at me or something. What was that you said?
I think, okay, when we were finally going to the theater, at that point, I was just seeing figures. I could only tell my husband because I knew the color of polo, so I could see that he was wearing, I think it was a blue polo.
Blue polo, yeah.
Yes, so I was just seeing that, okay, this person is my husband from his size, and this is a blue polo person, you get, because I wasn't seeing again. So as we're going, he was holding my hand actually and telling me, don't worry, you'll be fine, okay? And I told him, in case of anything, I love you, yeah. He now said, shut up. Shut up, my friend. And then we went into the theater. So okay, they have a policy in the hospital whereby, you know, they don't put you on a general anesthesia. Yes. So it has to be spinal for CS operations, okay, I guess. So if you accept maybe otherwise, that's when you're going to have a like general anesthesia. So they were trying so hard to, you know, get the spinal anesthesia done, and you know, I have to bend in some type of way for them to get the angle to, you know, put the injection and all that. It was so painful. I was still losing blood. It was so painful. Everywhere was paining me. They couldn't access my back properly to, you know, get that angle for me to, you know, watch the whole process. So the next thing, general anesthesia, and I'm gone. So I could only hear these things. It's not like I was seeing them or anything. But I just remember waking up in the ICU.
Okay, so before then,
yeah,
when the process was going on, you know, I was outside of the theater with a friend of hers, Ezekiela, who also works in the hospital. So, you know, just there, I mean, I had not even stopped crying. I was just, you know, pacing, I was praying. And a couple of doctors will walk into the theater, come out and go in and come out. And then they just came, one of them came to me and said, "Sir, now you need to leave this place." And I'm like, "I'm not interfering in what you guys are doing. I just want to be here when they're done." And he says, "No, that we don't allow people to just hang around outside the theater." I said, "Okay, I'll go close to the staircase and just stand. Or maybe I'll stay by the elevator so that you see me when he's." They said, "No, the best place for you to be is in the room, in her room, so that when we need you, we can know where to find you." I'm a trained health practitioner, so I know, how best to respect other colleagues, and can give them their workspace. So I heeded the advice, and then I went to the room. I was just there alone. I even tried to distract myself, catch up on some work. It wasn't working. I prayed as much as I could. I didn't want to make so much calls. I didn't want to.
I think that was the point where you called my mom.
Yes, then I now remembered I had not even, called my in-laws. And so I called my mother-in-law. And then I told her, okay, we're in the hospital. And she was also ready.
Very ready.
And she was like, "Okay, are you coming to pick me?" I said, "No, I can't leave the hospital. That she's in the theater. So I'll send a vehicle to you." So I sent a vehicle to pick her up. And of course, before she got in, one of the nurses came to the room, saw me and just said, "Oh, congratulations, your wife has put to bed." And I said, "Okay, can I see her?" They said, "No." "Why? She's in the ICU. But you can see your son." I said, "Okay." So I was expecting I would go to maybe a ward, a pediatric ward, or someone to see. And then they said I would go to the SCBU, that's the special care baby unit, to see him. So I was wondering, why is my son in the SCBU and my wife in the ICU? And so I went to the SCBU. The whole protocol, you take off your shoes, you wear some headgear, and all that. And then I saw him, very tiny, oxygen, and all, and a lot of connections and wires and this and timers and machines beeping, cannula machine, and I looked at, I didn't even touch him. I couldn't touch him. Even when the nurse was like, "You want to?" I just said, No. I was just watching him, and I'm like, God. We had a scare, during the pregnancy period where I think in the first trimester.
Yes.
We went for routine antenatal, and then they couldn't hear the fetal heartbeats. So they tried and couldn't hear the fetal heartbeat, and so the doctor said, "Okay, we should come back for the next session, and then if they can't hear the heartbeat, we know what they are going to do." Of course, you know what they are going to do, but luckily for us, by the grace of God, we prayed about it. We just spoke to God. You did this for us, so. The next time we went, we heard the heartbeat. In fact, the heartbeat was so vivid,
like a donkey
that was trotting, and And so fast forward to the day of his birth, and he was all wired up, different machines connected and all that, and I was more than scared. I just went out of the SCBU. I just leaned by the wall, and there was no prayer I did not pray. I had not seen my wife. I didn't see my son in the condition. I mean, I had vivid visions of, the first time I would hold my child, what I'll say to him and stuff, but I couldn't even touch him. And I went back in, I looked at him. The only thing I did was I just checked, his digits were complete. I checked everything he was. And, I just looked at him, took a good look. So I basically had a photographic memory of, this is my child. And then I left. By then, my mother-in-law had gotten to the hospital. I went to receive her. And then I told her everything. I had to take her to the room because she wasn't allowed to see either her daughter or her grandson. So she was in the room. And we were there for a while, a long while. And
I woke up.
No, even before you did, I was afraid. I was really afraid.
Yeah.
And then, even in my moment of prayer and everything, something just told me, exercise your faith.
Yes,
and you won't believe how I exercised my faith. So whenever I was in doubt, I just picked up my phone and I would call somebody. The first person I called was my sister, my elder sister.
Yeah.
And I said, my wife has given birth. "Oh, wow, congratulations." "Yeah, it's a boy, blah, 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 blah." And that was it. Then I called my friend, my best friend, TK. My wife had given birth. And then I stayed again. Whenever, after a few minutes, I'll be down. When that fear comes, I just exercise my faith. I pick up my phone and I make another call. So I called people. I called really close, family, and even my manager, at work. I called, and just told them that, she had given birth. And so people were rejoicing with me, and I had not seen my wife. And, but I felt it was my way of challenging God that I would just keep sharing this testimony even before it happens.
Yes.
And then one of the hospital staff walks into the room, knocks on the door and says, "Sir, your wife wants to see you." So myself and my mother-in-law, we ran to the ICU, but they didn't let her in. They let just me in. And I went in. I saw her. And then the first thing I said was, "Mommy." Okay, maybe you should talk about this part.
Okay. When I woke up, I was like, that was, as in, my mind was, so, as in, I have another chance again at life. Because it wasn't, I thought it was the end. Trust me, I don't ever wish that for anybody. So the issue was actually placenta abruptio. Yeah. And it's idiosyncratic.
Okay, so what that means is the placenta basically detaches from the fetus, that's the child.
Yeah.
And so the child doesn't get any nutrients, the child doesn't get anything. So for us, our son was not getting oxygen, he wasn't getting nutrients, he wasn't getting food, he wasn't getting anything. And so when he was born or delivered, he was what they call flat. He wasn't breathing, he wasn't crying, nothing. So they had to spank and immediately put him under oxygen.
Yeah.
So that was what took him to the special care baby unit.
Okay, yeah. So I woke up and I'm like, thank God. I started crying. I was just saying, thank God, thank God. And I remember like one nurse passed me and I'm like, nurse. And you cannot raise your head after that kind of surgery. If not, you're going to have migraine for about 2 weeks that nothing can cure. So I was already warned about it, so I knew that I wouldn't raise my head. So I just signaled her somehow. And then she came and I'm like, where's my baby? And she said, your baby is fine, your baby is fine. I told one of the nurses to call my husband, but she didn't come back. And then I asked one guy that I saw passing by, please, do you know my husband? Please, can you call him for me? And then he called my husband. And when he came, I couldn't even see him, but then I knew that he was the one and everything. I said, have you seen our son? How is our baby? And then he's like, he's fine, it's okay. I said, does he have hair? Is he handsome?
How much did I answer you when you said it?
I can't even remember, but he said one of your friends.
I said that if I see him on the road.
Yeah, he said, if I see him on the road, I will know him. And I'm like, okay. And then after that, I think it was the next day, I was supposed to move to my own room. Yeah, so there was this guy, this nurse, Success, and
great guy,
very great guy. He actually helped me to stand that day. That was like the next day after the surgery. It was so much for me. My mom kept shouting, "No be so they do am. It's not like that. How will she stand up the next day? It's supposed to be 3 days after." She was almost bringing
but he just kept reassuring, and then he really helped her to her feet, basically.
Yes.
And it didn't take until I think 2 days after Kobe's birth before you could see him.
Yes. So when I went to my room, I think we had to change rooms, so I had to walk to my new room. So it was a whole process. And then I didn't see Kobe until the 1st of November. That was like 3 days or 2 days after. So it was so. So when I remember walking up there to his own part, I think he was downstairs, he was in the 2nd floor. So I went to his room, and when I got there, I think I went with you that day.
Yeah, we went together.
So when we got there, there were like 2 other babies, and by the second day, they said he had come down with jaundice, so he was under phototherapy. So he was naked under the blue light, and I was like, this is my baby. It was so. My emotions just came out. I just started crying. and my tears were just falling on his body. It was just too much for me. Then anytime I think about it, I always get glassy. And it was, anyway, I don't even know what to say after that. So.
Well, it was a testimony, really.
Yeah.
It was really a testimony, and
after that day, he I think he survived. He survived rather. What's the word now? I can't remember. But the jaundice was shot over.
Yes. He pulled through that. The young man has been a fighter right from time. From when we couldn't hear the heartbeat. While he was still in utero to, placenta rupture, where we couldn't even. He wasn't getting nutrients. He wasn't getting anything.
Yeah.
He wasn't breathing. As when he was born, no oxygen, nothing at all. To artificial oxygen. Then he had jaundice, and so eventually he was moved out of the SCBU and of course to the room 2 weeks. My wife, but he had to be monitored. So we spent about a week in the hospital before we were discharged. And then we were discharged, like I said, after 1 week and 1 day actually. And since then it's just been blessings on blessings on blessings. And I said this because at different points we had to exercise our faith. And there's something that I would like to also point out. All through the period, from his conception till all the period he was, growing and then, out. Every single day I spoke a word of blessing to him. Every single day.
Yes.
Even the days I'm not in town, I try to do it over the phone because I got to know that the best blessing a child can get and it's actually that of the father. And then nobody, no pastor, priest, bishop or anybody can actually, bless your child more than you can. And I just believe that I owed my son a responsibility, and that I would also, of course, owe to any other child or children that I would have, to see that every single day I place a word of blessing. And so I do that. Even I didn't stop at just his birth, even up till now. Sometimes we might be playing together and, I'll just remember and then I put my hands on his head and I bless him. And, so it had continued to grow with him. The young man is a bundle of energy. He's full of life. In fact, we are looking for who wants to come and carry him because he's
so that we can take leave.
Plenty. But we love him still, and he has brought a lot of blessings, lot of blessings, and it's just a manifestation of the heart of our God, and that's why we named him Kobindi. That's Kobi Chimdi, which means a manifestation of the heart of our God. So his full name is Kobindi Arin Ezeigala. Arin actually means a light bringer. And that name came from my wife because she, while pregnant, she said that if we had a son, she would want to name him something that has to do with bringing light to the family.
And I also had a dream, because I think there was a dream I had. I can't say the details, but that dream was just showing me God telling me that this child is bringing light to you guys.
And so that's why we named him Aaron, which is the light bringer, and it has really been, from one step of prosperity, from one step of grace to another. He has really brought light to our lives, and we thank God. And that's why we said that the first video we would make would be the video of thanking God, for his life, for that bundle of blessing that he has given to us. And then we want to use this also to bless people. We want to use this also to encourage people to see that they just trust in God. They exercise their faith where necessary. And he did it for us. He will definitely do it for you. So basically that's been it. That's been our testimony. Please leave a comment, in the comment section. Tell us how it has blessed you. Tell us, share this video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, because we'll be releasing videos, periodically. We'll be releasing videos back to back. We would love every minute. On the couch with Phil and Steve. We won't be this serious all the time. But this is this is our testimony, and that's why we're doing this. So we want to say thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being part of our story.
I'm also encouraging moms out there, just be strong. Know that God will do it for you. Don't think about how. Just know He will do it for you. Yes, He will do it for you.
So it's been On the Couch with Phil and Steve. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.